In Barbados, the government of Venezuelan sector of the opposition signed partial agreements to guarantee the well-being of the Venezuelan people and political coverage. In the United States, Hollywood actors continue in strike for nearly 100 days. In China, Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived to participate in the third Belt and Road Forum. In this framework, President Putin will hold a bilateral meeting with his counterpart Xi Jinping. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll begin with the news. Stay with us. In Barbados, the government of Venezuela and sectors of the opposition signed partial agreements to guarantee the well-being of the Venezuelan people and political convergence. These agreements take place within the framework of the resumption of the dialogues between the Venezuelan government and the so-called United Platform. It is about signing up two political agreements with the objective of guaranteeing the understanding and peace of the nation, as well as rejecting any form of violence and actions that attempts against the sovereignty of the country. In this way, the government of Venezuela reaffirms its willingness to maintain dialogues, as has been reiterated on several occasions by the Venezuelan head of state, Nicolas Maduro. In this context, the head of the delegation of the government of Venezuela, Jorge Rodriguez, cataloged this dialogue as a historic event for the country.
We have signed these agreements on a day that I do not hesitate to call historic, because it is the first step on the road in the desire that all Venezuelans have that the sanctions, real people killing bombs against our people, that the unjustified aggressions that affect especially the most vulnerable, that affect our children, our grandparents, our women, those sanctions that have attacked us socially, economically, in our lives, in the daily life of each one of us, be progressively lifted. This is the first step of a much broader agreement that is in full evolution of its construction and implementation.
After the signing of agreements between the government and the opposition, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro expressed the following on his X account. In all circumstances, we have always sought a dialogue. It has not been an easy road, but thanks to the consciousness and fortitude of our historic people, little by little, we are moving forward. With the signing of these agreements, we take the first steps towards the total lifting of all sanctions, the progressive recovery of social welfare, the economic growth, the consolidation of peace and democracy within the framework of full national sovereignty and independence. Long life to the people and victory. On Monday, the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, denounced media manipulation regarding the agreement reached at the dialogue table between the government and the opposition. During his television program, Con Maduro Más with Maduro More, he confirmed the resumption of dialogues with the opposition sectors and denounced the leaking of information about the agreements. The president also urged people not to be manipulated by the press, since Venezuela will act according to the law established in the Constitution of the Republic. The dialogues were paused in 2022 due to the fact that the opposition did not comply with the established agreements, referring to the release of funds that will be destined to the social programs and attention to basic services affected by the sanctions.
Nosotros, con ética, con honor, hemos respetado todo el proceso.
We have respected the whole process with ethics, with honor. They live by leaking information underneath to manipulate, to lie. For different reasons, they try to lie, to manipulate. I only say, if they are going to respect the agreements that have been discussed, that have been agreed, and have been signed, I could say many more things, but I am a man of my word. And as of today, at this moment, I confirm the work committed there in the conversations.
The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, affirmed that those who leak information about rich agreements are doing it with the aim of stabilizing the country.
If we are going to talk and we have reached agreements, I cannot try to leak information and take it out left-handedly by lying, manipulating, because you are breaking the agreement. You are damaging the agreement. You are undermining the agreement. Those who put out these false leaks and set up a whole international apparatus through national and international media and networks to lie are stabbing the negotiations, talks, and agreements that have already been signed in the back.
Likewise, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro asserted to be working on doing justice to those malicious citizens who leaked information on the agreement reached in the peace dialogues with opposition sectors.
Don't lie. Venezuela is working very seriously on doing justice and will continue advancing. I have no further comments because I respect the agreements. But if they don't stop manipulating and lying, I have to say it all. Everything that has to be said. I just tell the people of Venezuela I have faith and absolute trust that I won't back any illegality. Venezuelan entities respect themselves. Fascism won't occur in Venezuela. I just go against bending the truth as plain as so.
The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, met with the Secretary of Foreign Affairs of Mexico, Alicia Bárcena, in order to strengthen diplomatic relations and favor the mutual development. The dialogue took place after a month of exchange between the two officials during the G77 plus China summit held in Havana. The Venezuelan president also points out that during Monday's meeting, the data reaffirms the commitment to advancing cooperation in key areas to address global challenges. In Cuba, on Monday, President Miguel Díaz-Canel discussed issues on the current situation of Cuban society during his participation in the program La Mesa Redonda. The president said that illegal, coercive, and unilateral U.S. measures are aimed at all nations with humanist values. In economic terms, Díaz-Canel reiterated the small and medium enterprises in the contribute not maintain a neoliberal construction, but are based on social justice and the defense of the country's sovereignty with base of economic equality for the Cuban people. In this sense, the president emphasized that each project is implemented with caution to avoid risks to the social and economic aspects of the nation. Let's take a very first break, but remember, you can now join us on our TikTok account at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. On Monday in the United States, the Hollywood actors' strike resumes while it's nearly 100 days since the stopping of activity began. As part of the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the iconic animation house Disney, the actors' unions mobilized to demand better labor rights. They accused the production companies of using abusive tactics and at the same time denounced the lack of labor advances. In addition, unions are calling for the fair regulation in the entertainment industry and recently suspended negotiations with productions company after 10 days of unsuccessful talks.
Well, today is actually Disney's centennial anniversary. They are celebrating 100 years of being in business, and coincidentally, it is also day 95 of the SAG actors strike. So we are out here kind of celebrating and kind of throwing them their own birthday party.
Feels different being here in this capacity than normally being very celebratory. Congratulations to them, but also boo on them for meeting this mark and not supporting us in all of our efforts and giving us the best treatment possible for all the entertainment that we as actors and writers have brought them over the years.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump arrived in a New York courtroom on Tuesday for his civil fraud trial. The New York Attorney General has accused Trump, his son Eric, and Don Jr. and ordered the executive of colossal lead in inflating the value of the real estate assets to receive bond loans and more favorable insurance terms. Trump also reiterated that he is a victim of the Democrat plot to interfere in his presidential campaign. The 2024 presidential candidate does not risk jail time in the civil suit, but the Attorney General Democrat Letitia James is asking for the $250 million in fines and the removal of the former president and his children from the leadership of the family empire, the Trump Organization. In the latest hours, Israeli bombing killed at least 71 Palestinians and thousands were injured in Rafah and Yan Yuni in the Gaza Strip. On Tuesday morning, dozens of severely injured people were taken to overcrowded hospital in Gaza in times when there are fuel shortages for generators, crucial to provide medical assistance. The latest briefing of Palestinian Health Ministry reported that at least 2,808 deaths from Israeli blasts, most of them boys and women. Meanwhile, according to the UN figures, over 1 million Palestinian residents were compelled to leave their homes ahead of an Israeli attack commenced. U.S. President Joe Biden will pay a solidarity visit to Israel on Wednesday following the Gaza Strip crisis. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced such in Tel Aviv after in an about 8-hour meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Biden's visit will be held by time Israeli forces is getting ready for a ground offensive on the Gaza Strip. On Tuesday, the Belgian police shut down and neutralized the main suspect of murdering 2 soccer fans in a terrorist attack in Brussels. Belgium's counter-terrorist council raised its terrorism alert to the top level 4 due to a high terrorist menace to a soccer stadium. So the police cordoned off the area with 35,000 fans inside and called a match between Belgium and Sweden. The authorities shot dead the alleged moderator of the 2 fans from the Sweden soccer team. The killer ran away after the incidents. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to watch an interviews, top stories, special podcasts, and more. Hit the subscribe button and active the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. One final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. On the first day of the third Belt and Road Forum, Chinese President Xi Jinping held a round of bilateral meetings with leaders from all over the world. The president met on Tuesday with the presidents of Papua and New Guinea, Kyrgyzstan, Hungary, Ethiopia, and Chile. Xi Jinping expressed his satisfaction at receiving his old friend Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, president of Kazakhstan. A relationship that he described as solid, stable, and vibrant, which favors the development of both countries. On the other hand, the president of Chile, Gabriel Boric, declared that the spirit of collaboration for the construction of a new world order based on peace and harmony of people is being highly valued. Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived in Beijing on Tuesday to attend the third Belt and Road Forum for the international cooperation. China and Russia are each other's biggest neighbors and a comprehensive strategic partner of coordination. Putin has visited China multiple times, and since 2013, the leaders of China and Russia have met 40 times on bilateral and international occasions. In March this year, the two leaders signed joint statements of the People's Republic of China and the Russian Federation on deepening the comprehensive strategic partnership of coordinator for a new era. Let's briefly review what this forum is all about.
The Belt and Road Forum represents a concept proposed in 2013 by Chinese President Xi Jinping. It promotes global interconnectivity in the areas of economy, trade, infrastructure, and also in the human and cultural fields. Over the past decade, over 150 countries and more than 30 international organizations have signed documents within the Belt and Road Initiative framework. So far, representatives of over 140 countries and 30 plus international organizations, including state leaders, heads of international organizations, ministerial officials, and representatives of the business sector, academia, and non-governmental organizations, have confirmed they will attend the event. Apart from the opening ceremony of the third BRF, 3 high-level forums will be held simultaneously for in-depth discussions on connectivity, green development, and the digital economy. Additionally, 6 thematic forums will be conducted in parallel under the topics of trade, connectivity, people-to-people bonds, think tank exchanges, clean Silk Road, subnational cooperation, and maritime cooperation. The forum is the most important diplomatic event hosted by China so far this year, and the most significant celebration for the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative.
India's Supreme Court on Tuesday refuses to recognize same-sex marriage, arguing that it is not established as a constitutional right. The decision is in line with the view of the Indian government, which strongly opposes the recognition of these unions by the highest judicial body of the country. The verdict states that it is within the competence of the parliament and state legislators to enact a law of relation to same-sex marriage. The 5 judges bench of India's highest court thus urge the executive and parliament to legislate on the issue. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan on Tuesday accused Azerbaijan of driving Armenians out of the Nagorno-Karabakh, but said he stood ready to normalize relations with Baku by the end of the year. At a plenary session of European Parliament in Strasbourg, France, the Armenian premier affirmed that Nagorno-Karabakh has a cleansing of Armenians and that Serbians clearly and unequivocally demonstrate its decision to make life impossible for Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh.
The latest and most tragic of such events unfolded quite recently when Azerbaijan, in furtherance of its years-long policy of ethnic cleansing, unleashed a wholesale attack on Nagorno-Karabakh when 100,000 Armenians were fleeing from Nagorno-Karabakh to the Republic of Armenia.
On Monday, Angolan President João Lourenço delivered a State of the Nation address to the National Assembly a few days after an extraordinary parliamentary session convened to debate his possible impeachment. This impeachment proposal was rejected with 123 votes against and 1 abstention. The process is absolutely closed, declared João Martins, spokesman for the ruling party, while the opposition leader accuses the Lourenço's administration of failing to comply with parliamentary rules. The treasures of Notre Cathedral, which were spared from the fire in 2019, are on display at the Louvre Museum in Paris. This object of worship are an opportunity to discover these witnesses of history, which are previously kept in the sacristy. The reliquary of the Holy Crown of Thorns, a solid silver Madonna and Child, and princely vestments are just some of the 120 mainly deleterious objects on display. The exhibition Treasures of Notre Dame from its origins to the Volatility Dog will be open until the end of January. On Thursday, October the 19th, in Grenada, commemorative events will be held to mark the first National Day of Heroes of Grenada, commemorating the 1983 killing of former Prime Minister Maurice Bishop. Several of his cabinet colleagues and civilians at Fort Rupert also called for the church. Local authorities invite Grenadians everywhere are invited to participate in the activities planned for this day of reflection and remembrance.
On October 19, 2023, Grenada pauses in solemn reflection and commemoration on our first National Heroes Day. Grenadians everywhere are asked to join in all the activities which begin at 9 a.m. with an ecumenical service at the National Stadium. Come out and honor our loved ones through prayers, heartfelt tributes, and the soothing harmonies of the PBC choir. Listen for the church bells toll in unison across the nation at 1 p.m. and in collective reverence, pay our respect with a minute of silence. As the day closes, we gather with our candles on the carronage at 7 p.m. for a light tribute in final homage to those no longer with us. Let us remember and honor our loved ones together on National Heroes Day, October 19, 2023. Please contact your local parliamentary office to arrange transportation.
We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also use us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For TeleSUR English, and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.